bond issuance. I think right now the recommendation from the committee is 75 million.
75,
Does this
right.
adjustment in revenue have any impact on getting close to the 10% threshold that we've been trying to be under?
So this adjustment itself wouldn't change the fact of the original projection of debt indicators. The one, Steve, you just referenced to is the debt service as a percentage of total revenues. Originally, projection was showing in the next several years there, we will be able to stay right under 10%. And with just the adjustment we just have there, it will still be staying under 10%. It does add a little more risk because if future years there's another sizable swing of revenue, then that could change that picture. But one thing to keep in mind is the original projection for the multi-year debt indicators also used assumptions of 4.5% interest rate, which we know I think is on the safe side on that. It's also assuming every year authorized GO of $90 million every year, not the 75. So I think we have a little bit of room to keep the 75 million. Again, it's subject to the discussion of the committee.
Okay, all right. Does anybody in the committee want to have a discussion about the recommendation on the 3.7, or can we get a new motion to approve the fiscal year projection at 3.7 down from the over 4% that we voted on last week?
I would like to suggest, I'm comfortable with what Holly's saying, of course, but one thing that wasn't discussed when we last considered this is that every year the council, those in power, usually go somewhere between 10 to 15 million more than what we suggest.
Are you, Barbara? Are you talking about the debt issuance?
Right.
I was going to do that second. First thing I wanted was there a motion on the 3.7%?
Oh,
the first recommendation.
I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, that's okay. Does anybody want to make a motion to accept the 3.7?
So moved. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right. Do we have anybody opposed? Okay, very good. Thank you, everyone. Okay, now, Barbara, you want to continue on the debt issuance that we currently had voted on at 75 million?
Right. Well, I had put a motion forward at the time at 65 million, which was 5 above what we had agreed to last year, and people then voted for 75 million, and I'm still willing to accept that. However, we didn't really talk about the fact that each year we continue to have more, authorized or issued above what we recommend. And do we want to put that into our thought process at all at this point, with the fact that we've gotten some very unsettling news, I think, in the last week, and that doesn't give us a lot of wiggle room if we get more bad news within the next year. So I'm throwing that out for conversation. If anybody else has similar concerns and would like to say something, a comment on that.
I think those are good points, Barbara. I think that I was in favor of 75 million when we voted on that a few weeks ago, but the news is certainly unsettling, and I think merits us coming down a little bit. I'm not sure if the right number is 65 or 70 or what the right number is, but
I'd be satisfied with 70 at this point, just to have just a little cushion there.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I'm curious what others think.
This is Ellen. I'd be comfortable with 70 as well.
Is anybody?
I'll move that we move it to 70.
That we adjust the previous approval to 70. Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Yeah. Very good. Do we have anyone opposed? Very good. Okay, so we'll make that adjustment in the report. Pending those two adjustments, everybody's had the report and has had a chance to review it. Really, all we need, we don't really have to have a discussion on the report. We just need a motion and a vote on the report if everybody's supportive, unless anybody wants to have any discussion around any issues within the report that they've noticed.
I'd motion that we approve it. I also just want to thank everybody for all their hard work. I read through it, and all the discussion and conversations we've had were very clearly articulated in there. So thank you for all the work that went into it.
Thank you.
Great,
Jason.
thanks, JC. I echo that. Do we have a second?
I'll second that also.
Very good. Thank you, Jimmy. Do we have any opposed to the report? Great. Okay. Well, then we have finalized our work on producing the report. I appreciate everybody's help on doing that. I see somebody coming across with a typo. That's great. If you see any typos, I think we don't have to submit it for another day or so. If there's any typos, we can get those cleaned up. But Holly, I think the team has delivered you a report. Anything you want to say to finish up the meeting?
Yeah, Steve, thank you very much. And thank you for chairing the development report and the meetings of discussions there. I just want to echo what Steve said earlier, and also Jason and others mentioned there. I always very much appreciative of the committee, the talent and the input and all those good thoughts about making recommendations and try to help the county develop more sustainable and fiscally sound budget there. So very much appreciative, and the report is very solid in my opinion, and very thoughtful as usual there. So I really want to take the opportunity to thank everybody for contributing your time into it. And as Steve mentioned earlier, that if you see typos and editing, like minor things here, like there, please feel free to send to us, because we still want the final product have the best quality possible. And also again, thanks to multiple people who contribute to the writing of this report. So with that, I don't have too much other things to add. Are there any comments from the team? If not, we're going to adjourn.
I'm just going to note that those kinds of corrections are considered technical edits. And so the fact that we've approved the report, there's a recognition that, technical adjustments, a comma, a missing space, spacing of the charts and things like that. That's in the final. And as we're inserting a couple new things that we just decided today, it does have to go through one more. So everybody feel free to take a look and let us know if there's anything that needs to be technically corrected. Yeah,
thank you very much, Alan, for clarify on that. And in terms of timing there, in the next couple of days, we're going to finalize the final report. If any technical corrections we need to make there, as Alan mentioned, that sent to us there, we'll make sure incorporate there to ensure the quality of the final product there. I found the discussion extremely helpful, and the presentation hopefully also share some information with you about how the county is forming those policies related to financial, long-term and short-term planning on that there. And after we finish this year's SAAC, also when we are at the downtime, probably after budget adoption, I will also want to do a quick survey of this year's committee member, especially there are some new members there, like about the process, about content, anything needs to improve. We are open to get your feedbacks and thoughts. So next year we can make things even better in terms of both the process and the final product there. But overall, I am very appreciative. I think this is a great product reflecting a lot of wisdom from the committee. Thank you all very much.
Great. Thank you, Holly. Everybody have a good one.
Thanks
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.